Hello, my name is Ana Marisa, and this is my presentation of the 3 articles I read during this semester. The overarching topic is precision agriculture. I chose it because I enjoy gardening and I wanted to learn different ways GIS could improve how others grow, maintain, and harvest crops. My first article was published in the Journal of Field Robotics. A team of researchers studied the transfer of information between different convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, used for sorting between crops and non-crops in images, things like dirt, rocks, or debris. The purpose of the study was to reduce the labor needed to create new systems for other crop types and different environments. Data was collected in 2 stages. First, the team needed to gather images for the CNNs to sort. They used a publicly available sugar beet study that had data collected in a similar fashion to how the team planned on gathering their own data. The researchers collected their own data on carrots and onions in the English fields of Lincolnshire by taking pictures above the crops with the camera mounted to a rolling cart to keep the height distance from the ground to the lens as consistent as possible. The second half of the data collection took place as CNNs identified crops, weeds, and soil from the images. Time it took for the results of the CNN's work was recorded and calculations were conducted to evaluate whether or not there was an improvement in the quality of results the CNNs had produced. The results of the project proved it is possible to train an existing CNN to be compatible with the new crop type with less human hours annotating every pixel in the collected field of imagery. I was pleased to see the various ways the team explained their work by elaborating on or condensing technical terms to better convey their meaning to a less informed reader. They also described how the changes made to the CNNs would affect the results, such as less time or a drop in performance. The next article was published in the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Sensors Journal. It investigates a technique for using underground sensor networks to detect insects or pests in an agricultural setting. The technique is based on the idea that using wireless nodes in an underground sensor network allows for an increase of the number of nodes in use and therefore allowing for more complete data. The author of the article seeks to utilize the nodes in an agricultural setting not only for monitoring soil conditions like irrigation, but also for pest control. This is done by making both a mathematical and simulated model of an agricultural setting with wireless nodes in place to detect the noise level of pests as they approach the nodes. Each node will be placed underground next to a crop with the default setting to sleep mode to reduce energy waste. When the node detects movement, it wakes up to collect data. If the noise level of the pest were to exceed the minimum amount of megahertz required by the node to determine if a pest was indeed present, the node would send a location data to a collector station so the actions could be taken against said pests before too much damage to the crop occurs. Because the author only ran simulated models, it's difficult to tell if something had been overlooked that may have only presented itself in a physical study. The article does currently have a section where the author goes into math done to find the results and the details of the model, but it is somewhat vague. It would have been nice to know the specifics like the programs used. The final article was published in the Journal of Precision Agriculture. A team of researchers presents their study on how to improve the data collection of sugarcane fields by using yield mapping rather than daily mill reports. Most sugarcane farmers rely on mill reports to provide information about crops after they've been harvested. However, these reports can only provide basic data after the fact, making it difficult to find specific problems within a field that may not affect the entire season's crops. Yield mapping works by first putting GPS unit on each of the vehicles necessary for harvest. In this study, there was one harvester and several wagons pulled by trucks to collect the crops. The GPS units used satellites to record when wagons were in a certain radius of the harvester, marking a fill event. When the day's harvesting was completed, the data recorded in the LAS file type was put into Google Maps and then converted into a CSV. It could then be opened in Microsoft Excel, and time, speed, heading, elevation, and coordinates could be read. Then the information was put into QGIS, where an algorithm determined when the wagon was near a harvester and errors could be removed from the data and a contour yield map could be made. The team found the average of each fill event and marked longer events with an increase in yield and shorter events with a decrease in yield. On the map, you could then see where the season's harvest was flourishing and where more attention was needed. I think the team did a good job of explaining the ins and outs of sugarcane harvesting to better explain why precision agriculture is so dearly needed in sugarcane plantations. I just can't help but wonder if there was a more productive way to monitor the field while crops were still growing. It just seems odd that problems are reacted to after the dust has been cleared.